The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Step it off, break it down and lose it. Come on, follow us to the new revolution. Come on, step it off, break it down and lose it. Come on, follow us to the new revolution. And now I'm proving that this battle I am never losing. I'm choosing to ignore the cuts and bumps and bruises. I'm cruising through these haters, leave them looking stupid. They foolish if they think they'll ever hear my conclusion. I'm through with all these part-timers and their excuses. I'm bruising eagles left and right every time I do this. I'm shooting for the top, no I'll never settle what you did. The future's in my hands, my grip will never lose it. My crew is ready to obtain the absolution. Removing any doubt that we was ever fooling. Come on, step it off, break it down and lose it. Come on, follow us to the new revolution. Come on, step it off, break it down and lose it. Come on, follow us to the new revolution.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You're watching Still Toking powered by the Dorkening Podcast Network. We got a kick-ass show for you today. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard. And as always, Benjamin, how's it going?
It's going. Now that you found the right button to push.
Oh, yeah. I always know.
Just saying. Can you believe that we're literally only 5 episodes away from the end of season 2 already?
Does that mean I need to make a new intro?
Yeah. We'll use the same music.
I didn't even want to do one fucking show. We're going into season 3.
Hey!
What the hell?
Mute his mic. Nobody's no. I wasn't done yet. No, go ahead, Leo. Go ahead.
Oh, geez. Okay, so it's a good thing I brought that up because I know you love to leave stuff to the last minute. So it's
that's why, you know what? I was watching the opening and I'm like, man, Leo did such a fucking amazing job with this. I really like the song, so I want to keep the song. And I was like, I wonder if he would mind tweaking it. Well, I'm just gonna say we got 5 episodes left, and he'll get the hint. You're good.
Yeah, I try.
I want to say hi to everybody in the chat already because I see Token, Pirate, Supernatural out there, Jeremy Courtney, Peter Anthony. Sorry we couldn't make it down for the opening, man. It couldn't happen. We really tried, but I hope it went off really good.
Just a minute. You hate Connecticut, so
it had nothing to do with hating Connecticut. It actually had to do with I'm actually in the process of selling my house and moving, so I ended up having to work literally all friggin' weekend. It was just okay. Anyways, next, get me off the fucking screen.
Jeffrey,
what's up? How's everybody doing out there? Happy Wednesday. It is the 1st of December, by the way, everybody.
Bunny.
Bunny.
Funny bunny. No, bunny.
What the hell is bunny?
It's
what is bunny?
You don't say bunny
For Christmas?
No.
Must be a Connecticut thing.
No. First day of the month, you either say rabbit, bunny. There's different ways to do it, but it's so you have good luck for the rest of the month. Me and my wife do it. My wife actually brought me onto it, but yeah, bunny.
All right.
Never heard of it.
Funny Bunny.
Yeah.
Never heard of it. Interesting though. So we're last month of the year. I have a love-hate relationship with the last month of the year because that means taxes come up soon, and that's always a pain in my balls. You know what I mean? I love Christmas. I love celebrating Christmas. This year is going to be a little more difficult, but it is what it is. And Yule tides and all of this fun stuff between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And once New Year's is over, bam, right back to the bullshit we're going to go. Because that's how I roll.
No, he actually put the camera on you so that you could introduce our guest.
Well, why don't you do that now?
Fuck that. That's your fucking job.
Okay. Billy's asking, was that a picture of the Blue Ranger in the intro?
What the hell's a Blue Ranger?
Leo did the intro.
No, I don't think so.
I did the intro, but it's all pictures of you.
Well, then maybe. Could be, Billy. Maybe. I don't know, man. It could be. Could be.
Who's introducing our awesome guest?
You are, apparently, because Jeff quit.
I didn't quit. I'm right here. We have I Googled this guy, and I got so confused. I did. I got so confused. Google James Brown. It was a fuck show. I was taking all kinds of notes, and I'm like, wait a minute. I don't remember any of this. You know what I mean?
What?
I'm like, what? What the hell's going on here? So let's. I want to introduce James Brown, author. This guy's incredible. We had the pleasure. Classic horror freak. Yeah. Hey, are you introducing this dude or am I? Shut the fuck up over there. Runs a show on YouTube, which we're going to get into. He's an author, which we're going to get into. Just an all-around, down-to-earth, awesome dude that we had the pleasure of meeting down in Virginia when we were at Tidewater Horror Convention. It was great. He was 2 tables down. So I did my best not to go over and just keep bugging him because that's what I like to do to people that are around me. So welcome, James Brown.
Thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Nah, thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for joining us. Like Jeff said, we had the pleasure of meeting you down in Virginia, and just I guess we just connected. You know what I mean? Yeah. I walked by your table a couple times to stop. We chatted. Jeff stopped over and chatted, and yeah, it was a really cool connection. So we're like, we got to get this guy on the show, man. He's actually a funny bastard.
I appreciate it. It was a great time, man. You guys and Ben, you gave me some great ideas for doing cons and getting out and talking to people and just interacting more so because I was really tethered to my table at that event. And meeting you guys was definitely a breath of fresh air as far as just an insight from the con perspective that I hadn't really heard or seen before.
Yeah, we tend to bring something new to the con. That's for sure.
Right?
Can't say it's always good, but no, actually, Tidewater was a great show for us because we actually kicked off the Dorkening Podcast Network and Hellfire Entertainment Media, along with Still Toking, with running all the media coverage. So that's why we were never at our table.
We're never at our fucking tables anyway. All we're doing is walking around trying to hound people, give them shit, meet new people, and that's what it's all about to me.
Yeah, networking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But there's that brings me to and this is totally off topic. Somebody was.
What else is new? We've been off topic for the first fucking 12 minutes.
But speaking of cons, there's one con that recently changed the rules, and you can't leave your booth.
Which con is that? Because I won't be there.
Sounds like Steel City.
Oh, that was okay. Were you telling me about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Yep.
They can go.
Yep. Pound sand.
And have a. So, anyways.
Sorry, that just popped to my head.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
Can we get back to
Mr. Brown,
our guest?
Yes. So,
I'm just saying.
My first question is, why don't you?
What's
the name of your book or / books?
Gotcha. The name of my book series is The Glads, GLADDS, and there's 3 parts to that series.
Okay, so there's 3 books.
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I think it's and
it's going to be one of those shows. He's just going to give you straight answers, dude. He's not even going to elaborate.
well, no. That's okay. No.
Okay,
That's
so,
okay.
so,
because
so why the Glads? Is there a meaning behind that, or how'd you come up with the name?
So I wrote so the story came from a nightmare. I had a nightmare about the end of the book, and I knew it was going to be a horror book. And when I was talking to my sister about it, she was like, "Your title should be something to throw people off from the horror side and come up with something else." So that happens to be the last name of the main family involved, and that's how I came up with the story that way.
Okay.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, because it's spelled Gladds, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
thought it had something to do with boobs or something with the double D's.
I mean, that's I never heard that take, but that's interesting.
Well, I mean, a lot of your horror flicks and stuff like that. I mean, they always have the boob scenes in them. At least the good ones do. So I didn't know if that was like a representation of that. That's all.
No, I appreciate that. I had not thought about that, but that was not
Me neither until now.
What's
guess
that?
what? James has a new selling point for his book, folks.
That's
know,
right.
right?
See,
Depending on who I'm talking to, that might be the angle I'm going.
you know what I mean? We'll edit the the cover just a little bit, and you put that little nipple in each D.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
That's hilarious.
Oh, what a show we are in for, folks.
So, is it now? You said there's 3 books, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, is it a continuing story, or is it like each one is a complete in itself?
So it is a continuing story. For me, I tell everybody you would be lost to pick up 2 without reading the first. But it's I liken it to the Godfather trilogy, kind of in the way that it was written, whereas the first is kind of how somebody comes to be this person, and then the second is when they are this person, what are they doing now? And it also goes back to the past as well, kind of how Godfather 2 went back and forth, and the third one comes back to present time.
Very cool.
That is cool. So now it's written as a trilogy. So does that mean that story ends at the end of book 3, or
No,
did you leave it hanging so that no pun intended? Did you leave it hanging so that you could continue with it?
I left it out. And I actually have an idea for the 4th. I've written a little bit of the 4th, but I have no plans for when that's gonna come out. Because it could realistically be good at 3, but it is still open for more.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And he didn't advertise it as a trilogy. Where did he get a trilogy from?
3 books means trilogy. Where the hell have you been?
It just means the 3rd book. If it stopped after the 3rd book, that's a trilogy.
Well, that's why I asked if it stopped.
Get him, Leo. Get him. Get him, Leo. Wow. Just curious, Leo. What are you drinking tonight?
Nothing. I just have soda.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
I'm on Bubba.
I'm on new medication though, so it's
that explains it all.
Jeff thinks it's a script for a porno.
Yeah, they changed up my heart meds, so it's made me feel a little fuzzy, but it's yeah.
Oh, that's because you have to deal with Jeff and I.
Oh yeah.
So you're like a tribble, fuzzy.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
You guys done? 2 of you? You good now?
Yeah. Yeah. All good.
So,
Yep.
Leo, do we have any show notes, links? Or
Yeah,
anything?
we do.
Where are they?
They're
You
up
tell
there
me.
Or down there?
or down there.
Yeah, they're up ahead or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. You can find all the information for James, and it's still plenty of show to go. So,
Oh, yeah.
but you do run a YouTube channel as well, and we have that link there. What made you go to YouTube? What was your intentions with that?
So this was I first started this channel initially some years ago, but I just didn't really start putting content out until I would say maybe the last year. The reason back then was because I just loved horror. Now my goal is to make a movie out of my book. That is not an easy thing to do. So from my perspective, instead of going straight to a crowdfunding campaign, my goal was to raise awareness for the book, the channel, the title, everything through YouTube by getting a following there, and then getting a certain number that I can translate that into funds raised to make the movie. So that's the push for it right now.
Okay. Now, are you looking to do a full feature?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've got two scripts. Well, two scripts written. One's written. Other one's almost completed. So yeah, it's just about the financial aspect now, which obviously you guys know is one of the hardest parts of the game.
Right.
Yeah, you're not whistling Dixie on that.
Right.
So Jeremy's asking, is it gruesome or suspense?
It's a mixture of both. It is suspenseful, but it can be pretty gruesome in parts. The tale, in a nutshell, it's a revenge horror. So that can kind of give you some insight as far as what you can see.
Does it sound like Psycho, bitch?
He's not going to tell you that. You have to read the book.
I can ask. He can say I'm not telling you.
I just told you.
It wasn't up to you, dick.
That's the whole premise of this. If you want to know, folks, you got to go to their website. You got to buy the book.
Right.
I mean, they're not expensive, and you're helping out another indie. See, I hate this reverse angle bullshit. Another indie creator. That's what we're all about, is trying to help each other out here.
Right. Now, when you do get into the filming, and I do say when, are you going to do that again as a trilogy also? Are you going to do 3 films? Is that your goal?
So the script is written off of book 1. The idea is to keep it there and see how that goes once it's released. Ideally, since I've already got script and stuff written for more, absolutely we would go that route when it comes across successful. It's just my thing now is focusing on this particular one movie and seeing how that goes.
Okay, and then just see how that goes, and then you'd hit part 2, part 3.
Right.
Yeah. So now, just on that whole aspect of it, are you already shopping around for somebody to film this? Are you going to film it? Are you going to try to have an independent company film it? Like, what's your aspect on that?
So at this point now, I have not started shopping as of this point. Currently, the main focus now is to raise the YouTube channel subscribers and see what kind of amount of money I can work with before saying, okay, here's what I'll go to, because I don't want to go all in on something that may be out of my reach, but I also don't want to sell myself short. So at this point, it's about getting the resources that I can have and then say, okay, based on what I got, what can we do with this? Because I think of like Halloween. The original Halloween was made back then for next to nothing, and when it first came out, was not very well received. And then as time went on, it just grew and snowballed into this gigantic classic. But it was off of peanuts worth of a budget. So the good thing about the way the book is it can come across on screen the exact same way as something like Halloween did. It doesn't need a gigantic budget to be successful.
Right. Well, and that's where I was going with it, because I mean, budget is going to be based on where you shop, and we have been through this, and that's why I can say it. And we found that the independent side of things was a lot more an easier pill to swallow, per se, when it came to the financial aspect of it, but the outcome was amazing.
Right.
And it's really how you shop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I asked you that, like, you didn't have to come out and be like, well, I want a budget of X, so I can produce this type of a thing.
So to see Jeremy's question, am I planning on directing or hiring? I would love to be a part of it. And I'm to answer your question, I'm trying to take things one step at a time. I am not opposed to directing. I am not opposed to being as much involved as I possibly can. But I also don't want to like crush my or stifle my story. Perhaps, for instance, when I wrote the book, I wrote it how I wanted it to be. I didn't write the script. I had a friend of mine write the script because his perception, based on what I wrote, could grow it into something more than me just doing every single step. And at first, like he had some ideas that came across much sharper on screen than the way I wrote it would have come just in the book.
Right.
So I want to make it as great as it possibly can be. And if it needs to be somebody else's eye, I'm okay with that. And as long as I had input to make it as close to the story as it was. I don't want to be like Stephen King when I'm looking at The Shining and hating it. I want to be able to enjoy it in the way that I perceived it or conceived it when it first came across.
Nice. Now, do you want to be in it?
No. Of course you do.
No, I mean a cameo would be great.
Of course you do.
Would be great, but like I don't want to.
You don't want to star in it.
No. Yeah.
No. Okay. Okay. No, that's cool. You want to be like one of the victims or something like that. So get a cameo in there.
Right.
He's going to be the sheriff.
And I just saw Billy's question. What started me in horror? My love for horror. So,
budget for Halloween $325. Yeah.
I have an older sister, and she's 7 years older than me. So she had seen a bunch of horror movies before I even was old enough to. And I would like walk past the room and hear some things here and there. My very first visual experience with horror, I saw the scene in Chucky 2 where Chucky beat the teacher down with the ruler, with the yardstick. That was the first scene I ever saw of a horror movie. And then the first
I feel old.
And the first movie I ever watched in its entirety was Halloween, the first one. So after seeing Halloween, I was sold. And it's just with all the types of genres, this was the only one that really felt like an escape that I was getting an experience out of. Where I look at like drama, I feel like in your life you have drama. There's action, there's comedy, and most people's lives they don't experience that kind of horror. That to me is the only type of escape. So that's where my love came for the genre.
Okay, so are you looking to make this a thriller slasher kind of a movie? Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Some of the horror has such a wide range. So, when I say horror, you might be thinking something in the, I know you, I think it was Jeff, you love Terrifier.
Yes.
And you might be thinking in something in that line, or Ben, you may be thinking of something like Session 9, or, there's a different spectrum when it comes to it, but it'll be more on the thriller side, I would say, than actual like full blown horror. But it does devolve into, it has definitely strong horror elements in it.
Okay. Yeah, because the other thing that I watch a lot of horror, and I watch all different types, everything from thrillers to, like the comedy horrors.
Right.
You know what I mean? Comedy horrors to me are something that's very light. Yeah, some of the scenes can be disturbing, but they're stupidly funny.
You're thinking of a title. You say it every show. What is it, Jeff?
What?
What?
What movie are you thinking of?
I know, really.
I don't know. I watched 2 today.
No, you say it just about every show.
I do?
Yeah. Has to do with the woods.
Oh, Don't Fuck in the Woods.
Yeah. Right, Leo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I love it. And actually, it's funny you bring that up because that movie is really starting to gain some ground now.
I never heard it.
It's really starting to gain some ground now. It's if you get a chance, just Google it, look it up, go to Tubi or something like that. It's a disgusting slasher that's just funny as shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
because of how it was written and how it was done.
So Jeff, I need to ask you this.
What?
And I don't think I've ever asked you this. Have you ever seen Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? I mean, to me, some of my favorite shit it's what I call stupid horror.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
My idea for the Glads on screen is the evolution of the slasher. And the way I say that is because to me right now, the slasher genre seems pretty stagnant. It's not progressing. It's not declining. It's because if you look at who is in our faces right now, it's the same people that are in our faces years ago.
Yes.
Chucky, the TV series. Halloween just came out, a few months ago. It's coming out again next year. So a lot of the slashers we see are the same slashers we've been seeing. Scream's coming out next month. So I think some of that gets to a point of it stops being realistic to people.
Right.
And to put a slasher and make it real to where you can either be the killer or the victim based on your perception, because you see what happens to these people to turn them into what they become. It makes it just makes a little more gripping. So I think it's not that I think, I know this story, once it is seen by people, it's going to have the same effect that Halloween did, except it's going to be 200% real. And I want it to be more like, one of my favorite movies ever is Hereditary. The acting of that movie was awesome. The sound design, everything about it was just done very, very well. And it took you on this roller coaster through. And it was just very well acted, very well scripted. That is my mindset for style-wise for the Glads, but on a slasher side.
Okay.
As opposed to the supernatural side.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them try to twist it into a supernatural thing. Jason. I mean, Jason in space. I mean, fucking really? Could you not think of something any more serious? You gotta keep stretching this bullshit out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I liked Terrifier as much as I did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was simple. I mean, I understand that, they're coming out with Terrifier 2. And I think personally, no offense to anybody out there, but personally, I think that's just a fucking mistake because you're bringing a dead guy back to life again.
Yeah.
And that's old hat. It's been done way too many times.
Yeah.
He's not supernatural. He was a fucking psycho.
Yeah,
Let him die.
Didn't they make him supernatural at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I mean, just let the fucking dude die. I mean, they did it with Michael. They did it with Jason. Now they're gonna try and do it with Terrifier. Jeremy, no, that movie sucked, dude.
Hold on, listen, Jeremy, I will defend you on that. So, Uber Jason was one of my favorite Jasons when he came back all decked in metal, and he just like a badass. But to your point, Jeff, a lot of the movie was kind of hard to swallow. But that part I did like that part of it.
Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I watched a couple of the fan films. The Friday the 13th fan films. Okay.
Yeah,
Vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Vengeance because it was done in that old original campy style, like the original Friday the 13th. That was just fantastic to me. You know what I mean? And then I watched Roseblood, which just came out. It's available on YouTube for those that are watching.
Yep.
I think it was out already. I'll check it. I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's out. Roseblood. It was good. It was more storyline based, which I found kind of interesting. There wasn't a lot of what I considered like horror ends to it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
The campy side of horror.
No, there was none of that.
No.
There was none of the campy side to it. It was more like intellectual kind of stuff. And building that story line about who Rose really was. You know what I mean? So on that end of it was well done. The two movies are completely different.
Right.
Completely different. you know, which is one of the things that I like. I mean, I grew up watching Creature Feature. You know what I mean? Scariest movie I ever saw was Sleepaway Camp. Freaked the fuck out of me.
That was good. That twist is something to this day.
It was Children of the Corn for me.
Right. See, everybody's got their thing. You know what I mean?
You know, cornfields and fucking churches. I stay away from them both.
Right. I mean, I don't eat mushrooms in my food because of the land of the mushroom people, which was done way back when.
Christine.
I've heard of that one. I haven't seen it, but
yeah, Christine. That was another one.
Oh, Christine was really good. Yeah.
Now, see, to me, that was a supernatural because it's a car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that doesn't do anything for me.
Gotcha.
It was like Maximum Overdrive. That did nothing for me.
See, that was awesome.
I liked it too.
That was awesome. Come on. You get hit by a truck and go flying. It was just, it was actually, it was the soundtrack that made the movie. Just saying. AC/DC killed it. So, Leo, it's about that time before we go too much further into the shit show.
It is. Let me make sure I got the right button right here.
Yeah, I got a button for you. See, I knew I'd get like that 3 seconds of silence and shaking of heads.
On that note, there's still plenty of show. We're going to be talking horror for a little while here. But, you know, we do have some awesome sponsors. And now's the time to go to the movies. Spider-Man tickets. People are fighting over them. You know, that's coming out soon. But, you know, just go local to Prospect Theater here. Check it out.
Did you know around 83% of Americans with disabilities are unemployed? We are changing that. The Prospector Theater is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to providing competitive and integrated employment for adults with disabilities through the operation of a first-run movie theater in Ridgefield, Connecticut. We greet, seat, and treat our audiences to the best, most accessible movie-going experience in the world. Hollywood blockbusters, delicious gourmet popcorn, and one-of-a-kind pink glove service. Join us for a movie and see our sparkle in action. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit www.prospectortheater.org.
Hey, and episode 2 is almost out.
Fucked up nightmare.
And here's some hot sauce. You can learn more about all that in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Isn't that right, Benjamin?
I wasn't impressed.
No.
Nah, I wasn't impressed by those commercials. The first commercial was great. Those other two,
Well, only one was a commercial.
Yeah, and only one was made by me.
Right?
1, 2, both for you. Oh, Mr. Hawkins in the house. Nice.
Oh yeah, that was we had fun with him too.
Oh yeah, he's a trip and a half.
Yep, we had fun with him.
Back to our amazing guest. Oh, what were you going to say? Something? Did I cut you off? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you didn't cut me off. My wife does that.
Okay. That shut you off, and that's a difference.
Oh, right.
Yeah, right.
Right. There is a big difference there.
Quiet. Back to our guest. So we've touched a lot about, the book series and your outlook for what you want to go with, into film with that. So let's touch a little bit more on your YouTube series. Tell us what is it all about?
So the YouTube series is just my ode to horror, in a sense. So I do horror movie reviews. I do a history of horror where I started in the 1800s with the very first horror movie in 1896, and right now I've just wrapped up the 1940s, where I kind of just touch base on some of the big movies that were out in that time, not just here in America, but across the globe. And because I think it's important, because a lot of what we see today, some people think is the first time we've seen it, and it isn't. And if you look back and you track it back, there's always an original somewhere, or whether that be a concept, a story, the actual remake or original remake. It all depends, but almost everything that we've seen has an origin that's already been shown in horror, and I wanted to kind of show that with that series. I also do like trailer reactions for new movies coming out, kind of get people excited for what's down the line, because there are some good horror today. It's just not as widespread as it once was, I feel. But there definitely are, like A24 is doing the best horror, I feel, movie to movie. But that's pretty much in a nutshell what my YouTube channel is about.
Nice.
Cool.
So
Cool.
You said from the very first horror film, 1896.
Yes.
What was that movie?
Oh my God! It was called the Haunted Castle. It was
okay.
It was a French movie. It's on YouTube. It's like 7 minutes. I think it's 7 minutes long. It's very, very short. It's just in one scene. Like, I think there's 2 people in it, and they have like this bat that looks like it came from that time. So it's like if there's someone just with the string, so
you can see the string.
Yeah.
It's pretty hilarious. But yeah, that's the very first one.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's
what was
Jeremy's
worst
asking
movie you had to watch. Yeah.
Worst movie I had to watch recently.
And our trailer of 2 doesn't count.
The worst one, you know what? I saw Lamb. As much as I love A24, Lamb, and the only reason I say it's the worst is because I have such a high thought of A24 that they can do no wrong in my eyes. And the movie was just very, very boring. And I just couldn't get into it. The payoff at the end wasn't the same payoff that I got from Hereditary or Midsommar and some of their previous movies. So for me, not because it was a horrible movie, just because of who it was and the expectation that I have for movies they do, I feel like that's the worst one I've seen recently.
Yeah, cool. I think that expectations of what you're going to see play a huge part in how you perceive it too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Absolutely. I mean, some of the movies that they try to.
Bye, Jeff. He must have got a phone call. He's on his iPad and he can't figure out how to reset the sleep timer. So 40 minutes into every show, he goes, blink, but he'll be back in a second. He will be back in a second. But while he's gone, and I can get a word in edgewise, to everybody watching out there, this gentleman right here has a love for classic horror. So
horror movies.
Get your classic horror questions, get your thinking caps on, because if you've got a question about it, James has probably seen it or is ready to review it or has reviewed it.
And Jerry's asked a question about something I had low expectations for that blew my mind. So I actually didn't have the highest expectations for the Chucky TV series, and this series just blew my mind. I mean, it was a lot. It was really, really good. They just had the finale yesterday, and I was impressed by how that was done.
Now I have not watched any of that on purpose.
Yeah,
because I just felt as though it would destroy the original movie.
So how much of have you seen all the movies, or just your very first Child's Play?
No, I saw
see, I've only seen
up to the Bride of Chucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's funny you say that. Majority
Which to me was just disturbing.
A lot of people that have walked away from Chucky walked away either Bride or Seed. And from that point, they had enough. And I'll tell you that by Seed, that's when he become a parody of himself. But in Curse of Chucky, they brought it back, and he came to be scary again. And then there was Cult, and the TV show is based is a continuation off of Cult. So he's back to some prominence, a little bit more to take it a little bit more seriously than Bride and Seed.
Okay. I mean, to me, the scariest, quote, doll movie I ever saw was in Trilogy of Terror. So that's the classic to me, and that's going to be really, really, really hard to freaking beat.
Have you seen Magic?
Yes. Not impressed.
You didn't like Magic?
I didn't like Magic, no.
Oh, man. I think Magic, as far as from a doll perspective, and just Anthony Hopkins, his performance was
his performance was fantastic. It's like Annabelle. Annabelle did nothing for me either.
Yeah. Ben and Leo, have you guys seen Magic?
No.
So Anthony Hopkins is a ventriloquist, and his dummy, he's mentally unstable, and he starts to get way too close to this dummy, and he thinks this dummy is like pretty much telling him what to do. And Anthony Hopkins plays him as well as the voice of the dummy, and he kills it. It's one of his best performances of his whole career, I feel.
I'll have to check
it is. It's a movie you need to watch, but to me, Magic just didn't do it. You know what I mean?
I'll put it on my list.
Put it on your list. Yeah, you don't even fucking read.
So
what's that to do with a movie?
Billy was asking, and I know you covered this with something with low expectations, but was there another one that you would say recently that was the best one you've seen?
Recently, this one had a lot of, it was mixed reviews, but I really liked Candyman, the most recent Candyman.
The new one? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's better than it's not better than the original, but I liked the idea of, now in saying this, it wasn't perfect by any means. But I liked the way that they brought back some stuff from the original and gelled it in today and still continue the actual lore of Candyman.
Right. To me, they gave it more depth.
Yep. Another one was Don't Breathe 2. Don't Breathe 2 was really good. It's more thriller than horror, but it was as good or slightly better than the original Don't Breathe. I really liked the one a lot.
Okay.
What about I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list. Last Night in Soho.
I haven't seen that one yet. That's on my list too. Yeah, I've heard some good things about it. I just haven't had a chance to catch it.
Now,
so
I'm sorry.
What? No, sorry, Leo. What is there's different genres and different time periods. So I'm going to ask this in multiple parts.
Sure.
Your favorite classic horror horror movie and horror creature. I'll use the word creature for lack of a better term. And the new horror and the new horror creatures.
Okay. Classic. I have a affinity to Dracula. Anytime Dracula's on screen, I will watch it, whether it was Bela Lugosi, whether it was Christopher Lee, whether it was Frank Langella, whether it was Gary Oldman. It doesn't, like, that character to me is the standard bearer for classic horror. If I think classic horror, that's the first thought. That's the first character that comes to mind.
Yep.
There were so many. I mean, one of my favorite classic movies that a lot of people don't talk about is Peeping Tom. Peeping Tom in 19 came out the same year as Psycho and kind of got overshadowed by it, but I thought it was just as good as Psycho was. Now, as far as today, I think what I like about today, I don't see a defined creature or character from current today. I feel like,
which is why I asked that question.
Yeah, it doesn't really. It's kind of trying to go more realistic, and not really creating characters or creatures in the way that it was some time ago, unless they're being remade or the same characters that are being bought back. Outside of Terrifier or Art the Clown, I like The Strangers. I did like The Strangers a lot, but that stopped after part 2. As far as it's been so far, I would say maybe in the recent 20 years or so, The Strangers is probably my favorite. I really like The Strangers a lot, the very first one. But I also did like the Paranormal Activity movies. I thought those were good. Maybe not all of them, but the first one, when it first came out, with the budget being next to nothing, being in just this one person, this one setting the whole time, this person's house, and the way they pulled that off was genius, pure genius of filmmaking, and the way that they were able to take essentially a boring setting and a boring concept and make it terrifying. I thought it was really, really well done.
No, go ahead, Leo.
Yeah, Billy mentioned Nick Cage. What did you think of Willy's Wonderland?
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen it. It just came out not as long. Yeah, I saw it pop up in my feed, so I'll definitely check it out. I haven't seen it as of right now.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good.
Yeah. Now, what about sci-fi horror? Because that's a whole genre in itself.
You're right. It started in the 50s. The Thing from Another World and Godzilla, things like that. I like sci-fi horror. It's not my I won't run to go see it. I will pick other genres, other subgenres over that.
Okay.
But I won't miss them if I'll definitely go out of my way to see sci-fi horror as well. I like Alien. I liked The Thing. To me, by the John Carpenter remake, is the best remake of all time and one of the best horror movies, sci-fi horror movies ever made. Okay,
now which remake are you talking about? Because it was 2.
So the one that came out in 2000 something was a prequel. There was only one remake.
Right, the prequel came out in 2011.
Right, there was the one by John Carpenter. It was a remake of The Thing from Another World, or The Thing from Another Planet. That's the only remake there was.
Was that's the one with Kurt Russell?
Yes. Yeah, that one is the.
It's a classic. That movie it's right up there with The Hills Have Eyes.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's another good one. The Hills Have Eyes is. That was one of my favorites.
That was a great movie.
Yeah. Billy was saying Nick Cage because he's doing a new Dracula. Renfield.
Oh. Yeah, no.
They could definitely find somebody better.
No, I think that's a huge
Keanu Reeves would be better.
I saw
Have
that
you
on
seen
Facebook
Nick Cage
today.
recently?
Huh?
Doesn't matter.
Have you seen Nick Cage recently?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean,
what's that supposed to mean? Have I seen him recently? Because he looked like he ran into a train? What?
No, I mean,
no.
like he had a downfall.
Yeah.
Where he was like putting out crap, but now it seems like he's
well, no, I
out
have
of the park.
nothing against Cage. I actually love Cage as an actor. I'm just saying, for Dracula,
I
No,
think he
not for
can do it.
Dracula. I don't see him
you
as
think
Dracula.
he can do it? See,
I
I
think he can pull it off because he's got a he has to be in roles that are tailored to him.
Yeah.
He's got this like quirkiness, but he also he can be intimidating if need be. I think with the right direction, the right script and the right people behind the movie can hide his flaws in a role like Dracula more so than something else. As long as he doesn't make it like corny Dracula, which you can either get very corny Dracula or he'll knock it out of the park.
Yeah, it's going to be corny.
Ryan Gosling is going to play the new Wolfman.
Right.
They're making
now you're going back to where horror started with me with the Wolfman, Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that genre, Frankenstein, those original creatures.
So what was your favorite creature from that point?
If going back to those days, it would be the Wolfman.
I was gonna say Wolfman.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, only because it the basis of the story of the Wolfman and the werewolves and all of that really, really intrigues me, which ties right into some of the Red Riding Hoods. You know what I mean? It's a twist on classic storytelling to me.
Right.
I was never a Dracula fan. Bill will attest to that.
Yeah, Bill's a huge Dracula fan. He actually
Bill's a big Dracula fan. You know, I was never a big Dracula fan. Never. For whatever reason. I can't explain why, but you know, the original three, you know, Dracula, the Wolfman, and Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Those are the original three horror creatures, period.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
I didn't even read up on this. I knew it was coming out, and we were just talking about it. So the new Nick Cage movie, Renfield, I think this is going to be absolute genius because it stars Nick Cage, Nicholas Hoult, and Awkwafina. Written by Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ridley.
I haven't looked deep into it, but I just had saw. I think it's gonna be good. Yeah.
So you know Robert Kirkman where he's from, but Ryan
Robin
Ridley.
who?
Yep.
Ryan Ridley's from.
Ryan Ridley. Yeah. Okay.
From writing Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that other guy, nobody really gives a shit about him.
Creature of the Black Lagoon. Yep.
That was a good movie too. Yeah,
Creature
that was a good movie.
Creature was good. I think I can definitely see where you're coming from with Jeff with the Wolfman, because to me, out of the big three, Lon Chaney had to go the furthest with acting than Bella and Boris, because he almost was like in tears because he knew when the moon comes up, he's turning this into this creature. And like I think his dynamic of acting to go from terrified of his own self was very strong. So I could definitely understand.
And that character plays right along the same lines of the Hunchback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and all. And I think that the Wolfman is what sparked a lot of that stuff, which I just think is cool. You know what I mean? You know, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, one of my favorites from years ago was Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll.
I actually haven't seen that one, but I do love Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. That's one of my favorite ones.
Well, watch the one where they meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because it's a fucking riot.
Will do.
It's a riot.
It is. It's a fucking riot.
Wait. It's a fucking riot.
It is. It's a fucking
riot.
Not
a riot. Just it's yes, as Jeff would say. Sorry, I had to break the tension. You were going off on a tangent. I don't know where you were going.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I probably watch a horror flick almost every single day.
Yeah, you do.
You know what I mean? Especially now, unfortunately. You But it's getting harder and harder for me to find something that is actually worth watching. I'll search for 45 minutes and give up.
Yeah.
And to me it's sad, because there's so much garbage out there trying to play a take on something else that just doesn't work. I'll get into a movie for 5 or 10 minutes and be like, yeah, okay, this is old hat. Okay, yeah, this is old hat.
You just need to open up your mind a little bit and never mind.
Yeah, I really so to answer your question, Billy, so the book 2 is already out. Book 2 and book 3 are already out.
Yep.
But to your point, Leo, to Jeff, I think sometimes, a lot of times, horror fans we're our own worst enemies, because we have this tunnel vision as for how horror should be, and it should only be this way, which it stifles us from finding a diamond in the rough, because if it's not within our tunnel, we might miss it. And because I'll branch out and watch some things I won't normally usually check out, just to give it a shot, because to me all horror should be watched. It's just a matter of if it's worth a second watch or not. And if I don't feel like I wasted my time watching anything, because it's still the genre that I appreciate. But I can be guilty of that too. There are some things where it's like, if this wasn't good, I won't watch anything like it again. But it's doing myself a disservice with that.
Well said.
No, try The Clown. Now, I've come across The Clown, Billy, but I have not selected to watch it yet. Mainly
by Eli Roth. Clown.
I'm not sure who's in it, but the reason I haven't watched it, honestly, is because I'm not a clown kind of a dude. Even though I love The Terrifier.
I say, you could have fooled me.
What? Yeah, I mean, I love The Terrifier, and to me, that's the clown thing. You know what I mean? But the clown to me is old hat as well. And it's really, really difficult to try and take something that's old hat, make it fresh, make it new, and make it good.
Did you see Circus of the Dead?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. I've seen Clown Motel. There's a couple of clown motels out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Clowns, I'm sorry, but clowns don't impress me. They don't scare me. I know, I personally know people that are scared shitless of clowns, and I can't figure out why. You know what I mean?
I think Billy's talking about, if it's the one by Eli Roth, it was actually really good. It's a different.
You like Catherine getting sawed. Yeah, actually I did. Yeah.
It's a different style than some of what you might be thinking about with clowns. It's this guy, a father wants to be a clown for his child for her birthday, and he puts on this clown costume, and he can't take it off. And the costume ends up being it was like the costume of some demon or something. So he ends up essentially turning into this thing. Possessed. But it's really good. I liked it a lot.
Okay, well then it's on my list now, because I see it regularly. The Clown.
I didn't see you write it down.
I don't need to write it down.
Oh, you have one of those photogenic memories.
He has a memory like a steel trap that's out in the rain a little bit.
No, that's my lower unit.
Oh, Jesus. Leo.
Okay, so James, I know this is light horror, but have you checked out the new Dexter? And do you watch any of the paranormal shows?
I watched a couple of paranormal shows. I watched Dexter the first 3 episodes, and I don't know what it was, but it wasn't I didn't like it. I just, for whatever reason, never went back to it. It was a timing thing, whatever. I just didn't go back to it. Before the Chucky series, one of the shows I really liked was Hannibal, the Hannibal TV show. I thought that one was very well done. And that's probably and I also like Bates Motel when that was out. I thought that was well done as well.
I've been wanting to check out Bates Motel because
Yeah,
the
me too.
actor,
I haven't checked it out yet either.
he's in a new one, The Good Doctor, and
Yeah.
he's incredible in The Good Doctor. So I could imagine him playing a psycho is just insane.
I mean, he fits Norman Bates to a T. And I mean, the original Norman Bates, I think he either won an Oscar or was nominated for an Oscar. And this guy just did just as well, I feel.
Everybody's got that head shake.
Yeah, it's like
because everybody listening to us,
because
watching us right now, they're like, "Wow, they went silent an awful lot during that show."
I mean, everybody's mind is running. I mean, everybody has their own form of or style of horror that they really like, the genre of horror. And the horror genre really has so many different styles compared to a lot of the rest.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that's where it makes it difficult because, you've got your comedy horror, your sci-fi horror, your supernatural horror, this horror and that horror. And, over the years, there's been so many good movies that have come out. It makes it more difficult, and I'm a lot more critical about liking a horror flick.
And not even the genres, but the styles, because every country has its own unique style, the way they do a horror. Like some of the Asian countries, ghost horror, they do better than pretty much anybody.
Right.
The Italian horror from the 80s, things like Zombie, The Beyond, Suspiria, they do really good with the music, putting music with their scenes, and it's very. I don't think they have a rating system, so they can be as bloody as they want to be. I feel America is more of like it's a melting pot of all types. You'll get the ghosts, you'll get the slashers, you'll get the bloody, the not so bloody, the thriller. But every country has a staple that makes it unique, that makes their type of horror unique.
You mentioned Asian ghost stories, which, like, if you go back and watch some of like the original, the one with the girl in the well,
The Ring,
the Ring,
the
girl in the well,
The Ring,
the Ring, the original Asian one is
that's a suspense thriller.
Scared the shit out of me.
See, I'm not big on those.
Well, there's
I don't want you to scare the shit out of me. I want you to kill somebody so they shit themselves. Because I want the gory, I want the blood.
That's your kind of movie. Now, what about, because there's a whole special genre out there of what I call vengeance horror. Like I Spit on Your Grave.
Man, those Last House on the Left and I Spit in Your Grave, I love them so much, but they are so hard for me to watch because I have when it comes to rape scenes, I don't like to see it. No. So those, as much as I love them, I watch them maybe I have to have a long gap in between the times of watching those movies.
Yes.
But that's not to say they're not good. They're just a little too raw
realistic
and real for me to stomach on a regular basis.
Right. But classic nonetheless.
Absolutely. And the remakes are just as good as the originals because they didn't need to do much more. They just made the same movie with nowadays technology. So, it wasn't really a perversion of the original at all. It kind of just kept the same line.
Okay. Absolutely. I mean, I Spit on Your Grave, one of my most favorite horror flicks.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Mm-hmm.
See, I'm more of the Mutilator.
Yeah.
Mutilator was good. Have you guys seen Maniac?
Yes.
Either the original or the remake.
I haven't.
Maniac was good, and I put that in the same class as the Toolbox Murders.
Oh yeah. 13 Ghosts remake, Billy, was good, really good. 13 Ghosts remake, I think, was better than the original.
Yeah, I like that one myself.
Absolutely. Leo, you got another show tonight, right?
I do. It's going to be a special one.
Wow, it's been an hour already, huh?
It's almost hitting an hour 10, which is about standard for us. But that's usually when I bring up that Leo has another show and we wrap up within 5 minutes.
All right. So your next big thing.
Wait a minute.
It's okay. He's been talking over me all night.
Right, he has. How rude! Just hit the fucking mute button.
I was just gonna say tonight we're doing a 80s special
on
everything. We're gonna be talking about the best of the 80s. You know,
real quick before I forget, you guys just had somebody from the Love Boat on.
We did. Jill.
How was the show?
That was really good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's
watch it.
They're doing a tribute cruise to Gavin that recently passed in February.
Very nice.
So the remaining members of the Love Boat are going to be on the cruise, and they're taking like the actual spot that he took or the original ship took and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty
nice. Cool. Now, did you mute Jeff or did he mute himself?
He muted himself. Yeah.
No, so he's fucking learning finally.
Fuck you.
Okay, Jeff, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Well, you made me forget. Now you told me to shut the fuck up.
I never said shut the fuck up.
You know?
That never came out of my mouth. What I said was
no. What I was going to say was all right, so the Glads, a trilogy, is written. Do you have another story in mind to start another separate trilogy?
I have 2 stories in mind. So I write off of my nightmares only because I can't have somebody tell me to write something and me write it because I'm not attached.
Doesn't work that way.
No. Right. So I do have a couple other stories in mind. Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool.
That's unique to do it off your nightmares, though.
I was just gonna say you must have some fucked up nightmares.
You might need some medication.
I've had a few. I've had a few that just like, if it wakes me up, then I just write down that one part. Because to me, when I think of the Glads was somewhat easy because the nightmare was the end, so I pretty much just wrote the book backwards, since I already knew where I was going to go with it. The other 2 was not the end; it was pretty much the concept. So that's why it's taken me a little longer to get those completed, just because I had to come up with more of the story around the concept.
Right.
Okay. As long as they don't involve worms, I'm good.
Oh no. No.
Okay.
No, all of them are rooted in realism. All of them are a little bit more like all people based, all kind of situational based. Like, if you were in this situation, what would you do? Type deal. Just more rooted in realism than anything else.
All right. Cool.
So
cool.
This is similar, but if you haven't tried it, it will really fuck you up. With dreams, have you tried lucid dreaming?
No, I've heard of that. I have not. No.
I read so much up on it and I wanted to give it a try. And I was able to do it successfully once. Scared the ever living fuck out of me. Oh my God. As soon as I realized I was dreaming, so if you guys don't know, lucid dreaming is where you're dreaming, but you realize you're dreaming, you know you're dreaming, and you're supposed to take control over your dreams. But when I got it to work, I instantly fell into like a dark black box. And I was like fully conscious that I was like in nothingness, and it scared the shit out of me.
You've watched too many Freddy movies.
Oh, no. But yeah.
That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you ever want to give it a try, there's some tips you can do. But basically, like throughout the day, you keep on touching your fingers. And, you just train yourself to keep on doing that. And like in a dream, you can't do that. Your fingers will go through yourself. But that's your trigger to know that you're dreaming.
Interesting.
And then you become conscious that you're dreaming, and supposedly you're supposed to be able to take control over your dreams, but it was totally reversed for me. It was like I was throwing.
So I could kick the shit out of myself in my dream.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or end up in a box like Leo.
Yeah.
Well, hey, whatever it takes.
That's interesting.
Leo,
gonna have to look into that.
Where can they find out about our great guest?
Well, definitely you want to check out his books and his YouTube page as well. There's definitely information in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. For me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which. But like I was saying, we're going to be doing another live show at 9 p.m. tonight. We're going to be talking about, everything from the 80s. So Saturday morning cartoons, your favorite arcade machines, just favorite music, movies, tons of awesome shit.
80s hair bands.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to cover it all. It's going to be a fun show. But yeah, I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. We got about 40 shows on the network. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. So definitely head on over to there. And James, where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
So I actually have a horror Facebook page called the True Horror Fanatics. That's one I'm on pretty regularly. My YouTube videos, any comments I get, I respond to them. My email address, I'm on Twitter as well at the Glads for Life, the number 4. So that's just Glads, the number 4 Life.
With 2 Ds.
Yes, 2 Ds. Yep. That's another way to connect with me. But I mean, really, I would say mainly Facebook, my YouTube channel. Yeah. It's pretty much
awesome.
Ways, yeah.
Jeffrey.
What's up? I love horror. I do. This has been a lot of fun. James, I really, really want to thank you. You brought up some of the history. I'm going to have to go back and watch some of this stuff now. Don't Google me. Google Leo. I don't give a flying fuck. Go to stilltoking.com. You'll find out everything you need to know. All our links are there. All our previous shows are there. I believe within a day or two, this particular show will be available to watch on there.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Yeah, okay. So tomorrow, you can look us up on Facebook. We're there. But all the links and all our information is really on stilltoking.com. Thank you very much, James Brown, because I feel good. No, wrong James Brown. I've had that in my head all goddamn day.
I can't even believe you went there.
Yeah, I did.
I was waiting. I figured that was going to be right at the beginning of the fucking
show.
I
figured I'd wait until the end.
Everybody does that. That's
no, I know. I know. That's what I figured. So I figured I'd just wait till the end. And fantastic. It has been an honor and a pleasure speaking with you. And I can't wait till you start filming. I want to see this shit.
Thank
you know
you.
what I mean? And if you need somebody to die, I'm more than willing.
I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you very much. It's been great. It really has been great. Thank you guys so much.
Don't go anywhere when he closes out the show. we'll just quickly chat backstage. Yeah, so I guess everybody said everything I needed to say, so I don't need to say much of
Billy
anything.
did have a last question that came in. Mr. Brown, what is your upcoming plans for cons, promoting, next steps?
Good question. So I'm actually going to be putting together this weekend a list of cons to do next year. I used to do signings at coffee shops and such. Now for the best use of my time is more so on the con circuit. So anything driving distance for me, I'll be looking into. So I plan to do hopefully 6 to 7 cons next year, and just continue to do my YouTube videos and promote those to bring more people to the channel and to the books and everything like that. So that's kind of my quick marketing strategy. I have to sit down and really hammer out the details for everything, but it'll be mainly off of those 2 things: cons and my YouTube channel.
Awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. So he did mention cons. Are we going to see you at Tidewater this year?
Tidewater, yes. I have not yet signed up for the Maryland one, but most likely will.
I'm gonna throw this right at you. You mentioned you liked the new Candyman.
Yes.
And from what I understand, he's going to be in Maryland.
Oh, okay. All right.
From what I understand. I'm not 100% sure, but from what I understand, it's a very good possibility. So you might want to go.
Okay.
Because you might know the people that do the media So you might want to go. I'm just saying.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
So
I appreciate that.
But no, like Jeff said, we want to thank James for coming out and hanging out with us tonight. Definitely check out his YouTube channel if you like classic horror. And we're not talking just like, some of these people watching like classic horror. Yeah, in the 90s, it was great. No, we're talking like real classic horror. 1800s, early 1900s, moving, like James said, he's into 1940 right now. I really enjoy watching it. So check it out. Fuck. Wow. You guys fucked me all up. To all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do every day so we can do what we do every day. We're out of here. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Peace out.
So come on.